Hello, girls. Welcome back to another session of online education. Girls, y'all are requested to keep your history textbook or its PDF version ready for this session. Today, we are going to deal with the concluding part of the history chapter titled Historiography, Indian Tradition. Girls, before we learn in detail about historiography in the post-independence era, let us quickly recap what you learned in this chapter during your earlier virtual classes. To begin with, through this chapter, you were introduced to historiography in the ancient period, where oral recitals were an important source of history. Then, followed by inscriptions, seals, and other artifacts that confirmed Indians had mastered the art of writing as early as 3rd millennium BCE. The earliest known written documents of historical nature were found during Emperor Ashoka Maurya's time. From 1st century CE, inscriptions began to occur on coins, metal images, and sculptures, providing important historical information. Girls, historiography in the medieval period introduced us to Kalhana's Rajtarangini. It also tells us how Bharani greatly expanded the scope of historiography. This paragraph you can take down as an extra question. Then we were introduced to Babur and his Tuzake Babari. This, children, is the answer to your question number 3.1. Girls, you are also requested to read the information given in the Do You Know box on every page because objectives or questions are asked in board about it. While learning about historiography in the modern period, we learn about the contribution of Sir Alexander John Marshall. We also learn about James Mill, Grant Duff, the important books written by them. While learning about Indian historiography, various ideological frameworks, you learn first about colonial historiography and how their writings were used to justify colonial British rule. This paragraph can be taken as an extra question. Question number 6.4. Then we learn about Orientalist historiography by Orientalist scholars who had great respect and admiration for civilization in countries of the East. They studied the similarities between Sanskrit and some of the European languages. A special mention about Friedrich Max Müller and William Jones. But later, their imperialistic interest was questioned. Girls, this paragraph is an answer to the question number 6.1. Nationalistic historiography by Indian historians showed an inclination to restore the pride in the ancient glory of India. Nationalistic writings in Maharashtra were inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. Other renowned scholars were Mahadev Govind Ranade, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Radha Kumud Mukherjee, etc. Girls, this is answer 6.2 A part. B will be given later. Rajwade is well known for his writings in Marathi. He opined that we should write our own history and insisted that history should be written only using the authentic documentary source. Girls, this is answer 4.2. Nationalistic historiography helped in triggering the independence movement in India against the British. In this aspect, the book The Indian War of Independence 1857 by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar is of great importance. The nationalistic historiography provided a momentum to the writing of regional histories, thus drawing the attention of historians to the geographic conditions and history of South Indian regions. Girls, this entire matter is answer number 2.1, 3.2 and 6.2 B part. Now girls, let us learn in detail about historiography in the post-independence era. Now, along with writing the dynastic histories, the cultural, social, economic histories were also being written. Scholars of the post-independence era began to feel the need of writing histories of various communities, sciences, economic systems, political ideologies, cultural aspects. The historiography of this era has been influenced mainly by three ideological schools: Marxist, subaltern, and feminist. Girls, in the first chapter, we learnt about historiography in the West. In this chapter, we are learning about historiography in India. So now, let's learn in detail about the three ideological schools. First, to begin with, Marxist history. The core idea of Marxist history was that by applying the method of Marxism and the theory and practice of scientific socialism, Indians can can free themselves from the vicious cycle of hunger, disease, illiteracy, and poverty. So the main concern was means of production, modes of production, and the industrial relations, which was at the center in the writings of Marxist historians. Accordingly, to analyze the impact of every social event of significance has remained the basic theme of Marxist historiography. Marxist historians in India studied the transitions changing from one state to another within the caste system. Among the notable Indian historians who adopted Marxist ideological framework, scholars like Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi, Comrade Shripad, Amrut Dange, Ram Sharan Sharma, Sharad Patil have contributed notably. Comrade Dange was one of the founder members of the Indian Communist Party. Primitive Communism to Slavery, the book written by him, represents Marxist historiography. Girls, this is the answer to question number 4.1. And for your information, this question was asked in the boards this year for 3 marks. Now, let's learn in detail about subaltern history. The seeds of subaltern history are found in the Marxist historiography. The role of the Italian historian Antonio Gramsci, or Gramsci as pronounced by Italians, is very important in developing the idea that history should be written starting from the bottommost rank of people in the society. In fact, subaltern means the bottommost ranks. This bottommost ranks refer to any person or group of inferior rank or station because of race, class, gender, religion, etc. Folklore has been considered as an important source in writing subaltern history. Folklores are traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community passed through generations by word of mouth. It was Ranjit Guha, an Indian historian whose picture you can see on the screen on the right, played a major role in establishing subaltern history as an important academic school of historiography. However, we may point out that much before the onset of subaltern ideology, similar thoughts were expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Mahatma Phule unfolded the history of the Shudra Atishudra communities in his book Gulamgiri. He drew attention to the exploitation of women, Shudras, and Atishudras done under the name of religion. The term Shudra and Atishudra indicates the bottommost ranks in the caste system. Mahatma Jyotiba Phule's book Gulamgiri is dedicated to the pain and sufferings, hardships and difficulties faced by slaves. It revolves around the lower caste people in India who experience a miserable life. It was Babasaheb Ambedkar who highlighted the role of the people belonging to Dalit caste as significant in shaping of various cultural and political aspects of India. However, their role was not duly acknowledged in the colonial and nationalistic historiography. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, focusing on this fact, consistently wrote about it. Two of his books, Who Were the Shudras and The Untouchables, may be cited as examples of history of subaltern type. Girls, this is the answer to question number 6.3, Subaltern History. Now, let's learn in detail about feminist history in India. Over a significant period of time, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. As a result, the role and achievements of women in history remained neglected. To highlight this fact was a major task faced by the feminist historians. Also, it was important to study and compile the historical writings of women and rethink of women's position in history. Among women authors, Tarabai Shinde was the foremost one in the 19th century. She wrote attacking the male-dominated social system and the caste system. Her book, Stri Purush Tulna, published in 1882, is acknowledged as the first feminist book in India. In 1888, the book written by Pandita Ramabai was published entitled The High Caste Hindu Woman. The feminist literature of the post-independence era concentrated on the issues like employment of women, treatment meted out to them at their workplace, their right to political equality, etc. Among the recently published feminist literature, Meera Kosambi's book, Crossing Thresholds, Feminist Essays in Social History, is of importance. It contains essays on the life stories of women like Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukmabai, the first practicing lady doctor of India. A lot of literature is available unfolding the viewpoint of Dalit women in Maharashtra. Dr. Sharmila Rege's work is noteworthy in this context. Her book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, Reading Dalit Women's Testimonies, includes her essays on the autobiographies of Dalit women. Girls, please add this feminist history as question number 6.4. Though this question is not asked behind the chapter, it was asked in the boards this year. It will be question number 6.5. Publication of Marathi Riyasat by Govind Sakaram Sardesai was a momentous achievement in the field of Indian historiography. His work became so famous that people began to address him as Riyasat Kar. He published several volumes of Maratha history. There have been number of Indian historians who wrote without embracing a particular ideology. In the recent times, historians like Yashwant Dinkar, Phadke, Ramchandra Guha have contributed extensively to the historiography of modern India. Thus, Indian historiography has been influenced greatly by social and political movements and also developed outside the influence of these movements. Girls, now we have completed the chapter. Let's discuss the exercise. Question 1a is fill in the blanks with the correct option. First fill in the blank, the correct option is A, and for the second, the correct option is B. Question 1b is identify the wrong pair. The third pair is the wrong one. Now girls, only few are given here, but there are many fill in the blanks throughout the chapter, which you have to locate and learn them well. Question number 2, 3, 4 and 6 has already been discussed and given. Now your assignment is to read the chapter well and complete question number 5a and 5b, the concept charts, on your own. Girls, here I would like to mention that in question number 5a, only few scholars and their works are given. But there are many in the chapter which you have to locate and not only learn them but make a complete list for your revision. So, get going. All the best. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay educated.